was awesome. We found out a lot about like world branches and things, and Kujo found out that she had been killed in another branch, so that was interesting. And now we're like trying to protect her. We think the evil eye user is maybe someone at our school or a classmate or something. I told you guys who I thought it was. I have a suspicion of somebody, and I think that person is Yoichi. I am not 100% sure on that. I'm not sure if he's the evil eye user or just a user, but it seems likely that he is. He's the only other person that we're not really sure about. I don't see who else it could be. I don't think it's Noah. I don't think it's, is it Haruka? Is that her name? So, I'm suspicious of Yoichi. I am. We're gonna find out. After meeting up with Miyako and Sora, we wait for Kosaka, that's what it was, to appear. She should be coming any moment
Miyako.
now.
能力使うの抵抗あるだろうけど頼んだ。
大丈夫。ユーザーの情報少しでも多くつかまないといけないし、自衛のためだもんね。
そうだな。
あのさ、昨日も思ってたんだけど。
何？
嫌なら直接聞けばいいんじゃないの？オフ会どうだったって。
I don't know about that one.
高坂先輩が完全にこっちの味方なら。
We have no idea where she stands right now. No idea.
そうじゃないと思いたいけど、結構厄介な人なんだよ。
She's been trolling us, I feel like, is what she's
かけ
doing.
るくんに何回も能力をかけようとしてる。
わ、危険人物じゃん。了解。こっそりやっちゃおう。
記憶読むのってどれくらいかかる？
そうだね。そんなに時間はかからないけれど。
けど
思考回数が少なすぎるから予想なんだけど、印象の強いというか、そういう記憶が読みやすい気がして。
So by foremost, you mean like they've thought about it recently, or they are currently thinking about it. So is it possible we could like mention it in some way, or like mention something that'll make her think about that, and then she could go and grab that memory?
ああ、昨日も言ってたな。
That's how Miyako learned about my feelings for her. God, that sure was awful, but I suppose I have to thank her for our relationship. Guess I
オ
can't
フ会
complain.
が先輩にとってどうでもいい記憶だったら読めないかもしれない。
Yeah, it won't be like something she really cares that much about, so it won't be like the front of her mind, I guess.
ならちょうどオフ会のことを考えている時に能力を。
とりあえずさ、やってみたらいいんじゃないの？
そうだね。
I like how Sora's like, okay, guys, let's cut the BS. We're just gonna go for it. Let's just do it. We can't know till we try. Doesn't want to have this roundabout conversation of what ifs.
蹴取られたくないってのもあるが、人前で能力を使うことになる。空がいてくれて本当よかったよ。
なんかすっごく期待されてるところ恐縮ですが、私の能力実際しょぼいよ。
Hey, Sora, this is the point in time that I need you to be confident, and now you're telling me you're having doubts.
すごいと思う。前も気づかれずに手紙を渡していたし。
But here's the thing, though. What if she did notice? What if she just played along because it worked in her favor, too? You ever think about that?
条件次第なんすよね。弱点もありまして、前に話した気がするけど。
なんだっけ？
実はもう私とMiyako先輩に能力使ってます。
普通に見えてるぞ。
つまりそれが弱点っすよ。存在感を超薄くするだけで透明になるわけじゃないんだよね。会話中とか意識されている状態で能力使っても効果なしってわけ。
So I'm trying to... My question is her power affecting them, or is it affecting other people in the way that it's making it so they don't notice them as much? Like, because that, I mean, that's pretty much what her power does, but who is it really affecting here? Is it affecting my perception, or is it affecting their perception to other people? I guess is what I'm asking. I hope that makes sense. Like, I'm asking, is it physically affecting them to where, like, when I look that way, like, I'm not really seeing them? So, like, kind of like as if they're, like, cloaked or something? Or is it, like, actually affecting everyone's perception around her? So, like, me, I'm less likely to notice them. I know that's very similar, but I hope somebody understands what I'm talking about.
今ここで俺が2人から目をそらしたりしたら？
ずっと私たちのこと見てたわけじゃないでしょ。なんかニーヤンに効果薄いんすよ。
Yeah, I've already noticed them, so like it's not really gonna do much for me. But like someone passing by, like they just won't notice them. It'll be like as if they're almost invisible.
今ま
But
でも何回かニーヤンの
But
前
they
で
aren't.
能力使ってるけど、全く私を見失わないし。多分ニーヤンが私のこと好きすぎて、ニーヤンの中の私の存在感がゼロにならないんだな。
sure, Sora, let's go with that. Let's go with that.
じゃあ念のため先輩の注意をそらした方がいいな。
うん、そうだけど無視すんなよ、おい。
頼りにしてますよ、ソラさん。
おう、任せろい。
Yes,
注意を
sir.
そ
Leave
ら
it
す
to
っ
me.
てどうするの？
俺がやる。リスキーだがオフ会の話題も出してみる。意識させれば記憶も読みやすいよな。
I think that's the best course of action. Like go in there and mention it, and then we can just steal the information so we know exactly what happened.
平気？
能力については気をつける。って言ってもどう対処すればいいかよくわかんねえけど、ま、俺だけ無能力者だ。こういう時に役に立たないとな。
I'll say, didn't we, the second time, didn't we break out of it ourselves?
気をつけてね。
あ、
お、気やしたぜ。
ここで待つ。二人は俺から離れていてくれ。
じゃ、能力かけたまま離脱しますよ。用心して隠れとこっか。
Miyako and Sora split off, heading over by the convenience store. My eyes flit towards Kosuga-senpai for a moment, and even just that split second, I lose sight of the two of them. Huh, Sora's powers are pretty cool. Though if I keep gawking in their direction, there won't be much of a point in them trying to keep out of sight. I pull out my phone and send them a message saying, once I start talking to her, it's go time. I then pretend like I'm playing on my phone, waiting for Kosuga-senpai to arrive. Now, if all goes according to
ご
plan...
きげんよう、かける様。
I knew she would make first contact. I tried to play it cool.
どうも。
Yeah, I think it really depends on which personality she is, because obviously when she has like her chest out like this, you can kind of tell which one it is.
もしや、私のことを？
すみません、妹です。毎朝待ち合わせをしてて。
Is he trolling her?
あの元気そうな。
She delicately covers a giggle. Behind her stands the stud brigade. They don't seem a bit displeased with me, even though I have their queen's attention. Instead, all stand around waiting politely, positively beaming. And she really did a number on these guys. Honestly, seeing this pisses me off. So it's not surprising when my temper flares up and I let out a rather sarcastic quip,
す
leaving him
ごい
out.
ですね。お友達の数。
いえ、違いますわ。
はい。
彼らは私の親衛隊なんです。
親衛隊。
Her smile looks strained, though she may not even realize that herself. It'd be ridiculous to compare the level of deed to the murderer. But Kosuga-senpai is certainly showing the same lack of restraint in exercising her powers as the evil eye users. Moreover, what if there's a user among those bodyguards of hers? What if her goal at the offline meetup was to collect a few guys with powers for her little army? If she can control even a user, there's a possibility that the evil eyes user is standing docilely behind her. That'd be awfully convenient for our information gathering,
どう
but...
されました？
ああ、いえ。ネットでもリアルでもお姫様扱いですから、俺もあやかりたいなって。
That's a good transition, I like it.
まあ私の伴侶となってくださればその願いも叶いますよ。
やめておきます。ネットのファンが黙っちゃいない。アガスティアの歯、たまに見てるんですよ。
ああ、けれど会ったこともない方々ですし。
Interesting you would say that. I feel like she like knows where we're going with
でも
this.
オフ会されたんですよね。
ええ、先日。
本物はいました？
さあ、それはどうでしょう。
She smiles knowingly, perhaps trying to raise my hopes. Yet no does she's keeping it a
では
secret.
かける様。
はい。また。
Senpai takes the hem of her skirt and gives an overdramatic curtsy. I breathe a sigh of relief, happy to have escaped her trying to use her powers on me and watch the queen's procession file by. Now then, I wonder if they managed to read her memories. I take a look around and spot the two immediately. They're walking towards me, so I go to meet them
どうだっ
halfway.
た？
うまくいったっぽいよん。
誰に聞かれるかわからない。ここで話すのはやめよう。
That's a good idea.
そうだね。
リンクでやり取りしよう。それなら多少は安心だよな。
わかった。
私にも送ってね、私にも。
グループの方で報告するね。
それを犯人に知られないようにしないとな。
いたい。能力使うとお腹すくんだよね。
Gives her the
やる
munchies.
よ。
ニーニのお昼じゃないの？
購買で買うからいい。
お兄ちゃん大好き。
Ah, Oni-chan daisuki, huh?
かけるくん、やっぱりソラちゃんのこと大好きだよね。
やだ、早くも破局のキッキ
I'd hope not.
浮気されちゃってたか。
うっせえな。
Wow, y'all are a little into this, huh? Snap back at them, but for some reason they both grin. Their personalities are very similar, but Sora and Miyako seem to end up on the same wavelength a lot. I guess it's nice that they get along, but I've about had it up to here with the tag
ほれ
team
行
teasing.
くぞ。
へいへい。
はーい。
I take the lead as Miyako and Sora share their regular "you can put your bag in the basket" exchange we had for school. I sit impatiently through morning classes, waiting for lunchtime to roll around. I still haven't gotten a message from Miyako. She's too straight-laced to text in class. Probably would be better to save this conversation until after school, all things considered. As much as I don't want to let the evil eye user get the upper hand on us, rushing things isn't going to help. Just as I settle my internal debate, my phone vibrates. To my surprise, though, it's not Miyako, but rather Sora. She's gotten impatient and is demanding a report. Glance over at Miyako to see her excusing herself from her friend's lunch group so she can send a
ね
message.
えかける。聞いてる？
Oh, frick. It's the mastermind.
あ、
Hitting
何？
this, like, Danganronpa now.
だから九条さんのこと。あ、
Playing us like a fiddle.
なんかさ、振られる前よりむしろ仲良くなってない。そうかもな。
Given non-committal replies, I fiddle with my phone. Truth is, I haven't told Yoichi that Miyako and I are going out. I mean, actually coming out and telling him would be embarrassing, so why bother,
まあ
you
で
know?
もよかったよ。僕のせいでギクシャクしちゃったらどうしようって思ってたし。
I don't trust him anymore. Now that I've planted this seed in my head that, like, he's possibly a bad guy, like, I cannot get it out of my head. Like, I'm gonna feel so bad if he's not. He's concerned about us. Maybe I should just come out and tell him.
また迷惑メール。いや、妹。ソラちゃんだっけ？可愛かったな。可愛い？可愛いでしょ。僕がクラスメートだったらほっとかないよ。正確に難ありだけどな。気にしないよ、性格なんて。僕が可愛いって言ってたって伝えておいて。
Okay, Yoichi.
へいへい、わかったよ。ほら、今。わかったわかった。
With a great show of annoyance, I start typing the message. This should be good for a laugh, at least seeing Sora has a tendency to freak out when you compliment her. Just when I'm about to hit send, I get a message from Miyako. Interesting. But the essay, it would appear she's typed up everything she saw in Kozuka-senpai's memories. Okay, so this is not good, and I'm gonna tell you guys why. We are getting a message, and Yoichi might possibly see this, and I don't really want him to see it because I'm suspicious of him. Even if he's not like the evil eye user or something, I don't know if he has like other intentions, right? An offline meetup took place, boys and girls both, no more than 5. No idea who was a user among any of them. 2 of them, one a boy, one a girl, met up with her again after the offline meetup. They can be seen meeting up at the shrine. Interesting.
どうしたん？ヨイチ先輩好きってなった？ならねえよ。まだ返事なし。多分来るよ、好きって。もしそうなってもお前に妹はやらん。シスコンかよ。うるせえな。
While I'm verbally sparring with Yoichi, my mind is working on a completely different problem. Kozuka-senpai met an unknown boy and girl at the shrine, and in a branching world, Miyako was murdered at the shrine. Is this a coincidence? No, this has to be fate. Must be the will of Steins Gate. Culprit is among those 3. That's exactly why Miyako went to the shrine and got murdered. She might have seen the culprit in those memories.
何そのシリアス顔。何かっこつけてんの？俺は常にシリアスな男だよ。そんなのいいから妹さんをください。
You can say whatever you want as long as you let me at your sister.
自分で口説けよ。それがめんどくさいから頼んでるんでしょ？
No, I refuse.
せめて誠意を見せろ。やっぱお前に妹はやれん。シスコンめ。
You dirty sister.
うるせえ。
Our nonsensical shouting matches also in the clamor of lunchtime break. They're meeting secretly at the shrine. Why they're of all places. I doubt she'll know anything, but I do know one person I can ask.
先生。
はいはーい。
What if the teacher's in on all this? Frick, I never thought about that. I just assumed best girl could do no wrong, but maybe she has. Maybe she does do something wrong here. Maybe she is the evil eye user. Next to the classroom as soon as afternoon homeroom ends, and call out to Miss Naruse, already walking towards the faculty office.
何？
ちょっと聞きたいことがあって。
何？授業わからないところあった？
No, I want to ask for your hand in marriage.
ああ、いや、そういうのじゃ。
ああ、よかった。真面目な質問だったらめんどくさいなーって思ってた。
What kind of teacher is she? I do have one hell of a teacher, I know. She looks great.
それで何？
ああ、はい。なんていうか、最近神社に変な人たちいません？
Not a weird question to ask at all.
変な人は最近じゃなくてずっと前からいるけど。
え、ずっと前から？
アニメの影響？たまに来るんだよね。マナーが悪い人もいるからちょっと迷惑だよね。
ああ、そんなこと言ってましたね。
I like the teacher because she tells it how it is. You don't have to play games with her.
いや、最近夜に散歩してて。
ああ、夜か。そういえばお父さんがなんか言ってたな。
やっぱなんかいます？
若い子がたむろしてるって。特に実害はないんだけど注意した方がいいかなって悩んでたね。
Some youngsters, you say?
ああ、やっぱいましたか。
揉めたりしたの？
あ、いや、そういうわけじゃ。
わざわざ聞きに来たから何かあったのかなって。
なんかやってるんじゃないかって気になっただけっす。
心配してくれてたんだね。ありがとう。でも今のところは大丈夫かな。
Gosh, teacher best girl, what the heck?
9時過ぎまでいることもあるからちょっと心配なんだけどね、教師としては。
Past 9.
教師としてはなんてこの人が言うなんてって思ったでしょ。
いえいえ、思ってないですよ。
Perish the very thought. Why have I been hearing that in both the visual novels I'm playing right now?
ミミくん、結構表情に出るから気をつけなよ。
Okay, are you offering? Miss Naruse pats me lightly on the arm with her logbook as she gives a casual goodbye and walks off. Alright, beautiful. I'll talk to you later. So they're gathering at the shrine late at night. Miyako said that there was 3 people, but there could be even more. If we assume that the evil eye user is among them, could it be that they're searching for allies, just like how we did at first? So Kozuka-senpai is an accomplice. There are a bunch of users forming an alliance, all of whom have no qualms about inflicting harm on others. That would spell bad news. With Sora and Miyako's combined abilities, they can neutralize their opponents while going undetected, but neither of them has mastered their powers. Nothing is decided yet, but I can't afford to let either of them go to the shrine. One bad decision could lead to not only Miyako falling victim, but also Sora. My job as the guy without any powers is to support them. It's my responsibility to marshal every resource available. Still dying to know what his power is,
私
though.
裏から入るね。
Going in through the back. You know, Miyako, that's not usually how it goes, but, you know, I think Kakeru's a man who's willing to try some things. He's willing to go out of the box, okay? So, you know, he might be into that.
ああ、バイト頑張って。
後でね。ニーヤン、私パフェ食べたい。
勝手に食べろ。おごらないぞ。
Yeah, you can get whatever, as long as I don't have to pay. But I pay for you all the time. Frick, I gave you my lunch, too. Part ways with Miyako in front of the cafe, and then Sora and I head inside. We take a seat and order drinks. I scan the room while putting the glass of water to my lips. Not here yet, huh?
お待たせしました。
Now wearing her work uniform, Miyako brings us our drinks. She places 2 cups of coffee side by side on the
いい
table.
なぁ、かわいいなぁ。私もバイトしようかな。
Yeah, then you can stop bumming off your big brother.
おじい様にバイト募集しているか聞いておくね。ご注文は以上でよろしいですか？
Well, thank you, Miyako.
ああ、ありがとう。
ではごゆっくり。あ、いらっしゃいませ。
Just as Miyako gives us a little nod, the door to the cafe opens. The Parfait Queen. There she is. Miyako is about to show her to a seat, but I stop her and wave down the girl from across the room, gesturing her to join us. He's like, ew, I don't want to join you guys. What the heck? Really notices. What is up with this? Ease? Me? But she ignores me anyways, taking a seat far from away from us. She's still cold
あ
as
の
ice.
人がパフェクイーン？
ああ、空はここで待っててくれ。都も気にせず仕事を。
Yeah, we still have no idea what her power is, though. I get up from my seat and head over to Yuki's table. Or she said it was some kind of like the order? Is that what they called it? I don't bother with any niceties, instead plopping my rear down in the seat unceremoniously.
席を間違えている。
話がある。
Need to talk.
私にはない。
マガンのユーザーの手がかりをつかんだ。
After avoiding eye contact this whole time, Yuki finally
聞
looks
く
at
気に
me.
なったか？
そうね。
He's like, oh, okay.
まあ、外れかもしれないんだけど。
確実な情報でしか動かないのは愚者のすること。真偽は自分の目で確かめればいい。
俺の罠とは考えないのか？
それでも構わない。あなたへの疑惑が確信に変わるだけ。
He's always suspecting us of something. I suspect you of being a dick.
なるほど。
Get to the point already. I came here for relaxation, not
早く本
annoyance.
題に。
Oh, frick, I'm reading her line.
その前に確認したい。お前の能力を。
話すつもりはないと言ったはずだけれど。
俺が情報を与えてお前が返り討ちにあったら寝覚めが悪いだろ。絶対にマガンのユーザーに勝てるやつにしか情報は渡さない。
She glares at me. I got her this time. There we go. We just have to think on her level. We have to have her prove herself. Hook, line, and sinker.
能力の詳細を明かす気はない。石化の能力者は私に勝てない。
That's pretty bold.
私のGオーダーは
根拠は？
自分自身の能力を正しく理解しているから。
I don't know. That could be cockiness or arrogance talking.
絶対に勝てる。
そうね。
She answers with a firm, confident smile. Of course, there's no way she could be completely certain of her victory. That would be if she is, herself, the evil eye user. I can't rule that out. According to Miyako, the girl she saw in Kosuga's memories was wearing a hood, so she couldn't make out her face. That hooded girl could very well be Yuki. However, I don't think that's likely. If Yuki were our evil eye user, she would have had a ton of chances to kill both myself and Miyako.
ご自由に。
勇気の力を見込んで頼みがある。
情報は
俺の頼みを聞いてくれたら
断る。
ただでとは言わない。取引をしよう。
Yuki raises an eyebrow at me. Ha, I knew it. I had a feeling I could reel her in if I played to her melodramatic
マ
side.
ガンのユーザーが仲間と集まっているかもしれない場所を掴んだ。
どこ？
それはまだ言えない。
私に何をしてほしいの？
一緒に来てくれ。相手もユーザーの可能性がある。頭数が欲しい。
用心棒。
ああ、
見返りは
この情報じゃダメか？
話にならない。
Not a chance.
ならパフェをおごろう。1週間。
引き受けた。
Wow, instant tone change. Deal. Wow, talk about enthusiastic. That was honestly the last response I expected. It's like, holy crap, she was so ready to accept as soon as you talked about paying for parfaits. Whatever, I'm just glad we made a deal.
頼らせてもらうぞ。
結婚はいつ？
今日からマガンのユーザーを無力化するか、たむろしてる連中が無関係とわかるまで。
了解した。
先払いか。
I signal with my hand, calling Miyako, who's been keeping an eye on us the whole time over the table.
ご注文お決まりですか？
いつもチョコレートのパフェだよな。
今日は違う。
フルーツ？
Pick up the menu and look it over.
チョコのよりお高いんですけど。
Dang, she got us good. It's more expensive.
そうね。フルーツたっぷりだもの。
チョコレートのでは。
どのパフェと指定はなかったはずだけれど。
I mean, she has us there.
契約を破棄したいのならば。
店員さん、彼女に一番高いパフェを。
はい、フルーツパフェですね。少々お待ちください。
After she gives a little bow, Miyako walks to the
1週
kitchen.
間よろしく。
She's like, dang, my week just got so much better. Yuki merciless dig makes me start grinding my molars. Well, at this point, I know of at least one thing dying in my branch: my wallet. Bad joke. Bad joke. Per Miss Naruse's account, the three are sometimes loitering around until after 9 at night. I suspect they'll split up at 8 at the earliest, so I begin stalking the shrine around 7. Sora and I grab a quick bite for dinner and head to the meetup spot near the shrine. Miyako, who has wrapped up her shift early, and Yuki, our mercenary, show up before too long.
作戦は
空の能力を使って境内に潜伏。3人が現れたら都の能力で記憶を読む。
犯人だと確定できたらアーティファクトを奪って無力化するだね。
ああ、もし気づかれた場合は。
私の出番ね。
ああ、その時は頼む。さっさと空に能力使ってもらって境内で待機するか。
先に予防線張っておきたいのですが。
どうした？
今朝気づいたんだけど、人数増えるほど効果薄れる気がする。
Oh yeah, I wouldn't doubt
4
that.
人もいるから厳しい？
全く効果なしにはならないと思うけど、1人か2人にかけた時よりもかなり弱くなると思う。
補助のエンチャント範囲化すると効果がその分弱まる。
Of course, she's talking about like video games.
そうそう、そんな感じです。だから能力があるからって油断してると。
なるほどな。もしもの時は空自身と都優先で頼む。
ミヤは
解除しちまえ。俺は男たちどうにでもなる。勇気も強い。
そうね、問題ない。
じゃあ行こう。
頑張るね。
We start walking, heading for the shrine grounds. I take a few steps before I realize that Yuki isn't budging from where she stands, so I turn and look back.
一つだけ。
うん。
九条さんの盾になってあげるつもりはない。あなたが私の能力を確認しないまま私を信頼したふりをしているのは単純にデコイが欲しかったから。
I feel like that's kind of true, but at the same time, she thinks that she's so confident against the evil eye user, so I feel like it's just good to have her around. She could probably neutralize them pretty quick.
私の力なんて最初から当てにしていない。
I don't think it hurts to have her around. Because, I mean, if we're allies, if we're going after the same goal, like, why not?
ノーコメントでいいか。
フルーツパフェの分は
Of course you are.
働くわ。
Okay.
頼りにしてる。
Yuki harumphs at me and walks by. I breathe out a sigh and catch up. To be honest, she's wrong. It wasn't my intention at all to use her as a decoy. However, I still opted not to answer. Decided that being coy was the best way to keep a hold on Yuki. It goes without saying that if Miyako or Sora were put into harm's way, I'd be stuck making some hard decisions. But make no mistake, the first person to be used as a decoy, the first person to be sacrificed, would be me. I have no intention of just being the guy giving orders. I don't know if we can go back in time, though, if we're the one who dies, though. Because it was Sora. Or, not Sora, Miyako. Catch up to Miyako and Sora, who have stopped near the temple gate and stand next to them. Because those shrine guns are barely lit, it's tough to see much of anything. Where the Naruse family lives is actually a ways away from the shrine itself, so this is pretty much a perfect spot for Claddenstein meetups.
どこに隠れる？
そうだな。空、能力は？
もう使ってる。大きい声で話したらあっさりバレるかも。
了解。ひとまずここから移動して橋の方に。
どうしました？
Yuki silently points her finger. Oh, frick, are they already here? So dark that I can't make out much. After streaming vision, I notice there's a black shadow in the midst of the dark grounds. A person? At least it definitely looks like it.
もういる？
どうしよう。落ち着いて。まだこちらに気づいた様子はない。
あっち側からゆっくり近づこう。
I know, I'm kind of afraid to move up forward here. We get some distance from the silhouetted figure, moving into the deeper shadows. From there, we creep towards them, sticking to the darker areas. Acting as carefully as if we weren't under the effects of Sora's powers, we close the distance carefully and silently. Miyako was murdered here. There's a very real possibility that the silhouetted figure is our murderer. The culprit should be on the lookout for us, especially Miyako. Can't afford any mistakes. If possible, I want to settle the score tonight and start leading a peaceful life. Yeah, that ain't gonna happen. Sorry about that. With every step, I think it's supposed to be every step. The silhouette grows closer, my pulse quickens. I wish we could get within 30 feet of them, but there's nothing to use as cover.
いいや。これ以上近づきたくないかも。
わかった。
この辺りでしばらく様子を見ようか。
そうだな。一人はもう来てるんだ。他の二人も来る可能性は高い。おい、
She's just going for it.
何してる
警戒するだけ無駄。
は
嫁が聞くの。あの男が私たちに意識を向けることは。
男
ゆきさん
Don't know if I trust this, but okay. He shakes off my hand, ignoring Miko's plea, and brazenly walks up to the silhouetted figure.
ああ、私のそばにいないと能力切れるよ。
仕方ない二人はここにいてくれいいからそら都を頼む
ほいほい。
I rushed to catch up with Yuki. What the hell was she thinking? Maybe inviting her here was a mistake. I'm working myself into a frenzy, except that the closer I get to the figure and the clearer I can make it out, the less agitated I feel. My legs get heavy, my steps drag. There's no way this guy's gonna notice us. She was right. It is indeed a guy.
くそ
Oh, frick. That's because he's already... Interesting. More accurately, a stone statue of a boy who will never move
白線
again.
の制服いや見たことない
そう。
I can't keep my panic down, but Yuki is utterly calm as she checks the statue. I was all set to ambush the culprit, but instead he was found, the third victim. Could we have saved him if we had just come quicker? So this guy took Miyako's place, huh? Covered in cold sweat. There's a time when I would have thought this is a regular statue, but now I know for a fact this was once a person. Look, I'm gonna puke. Oh, did they notice us? Next to the statue is a piece of paper lying on the ground.
ダイイングメッセージ。
犯人が見逃したのかは
Wait, what? Suicide note? How would he have time to write a suicide note? And why would he be committing suicide if he got turned to stone? Look at the scrap of paper Yuki hands me. Too dark to read it. I light up the note with the flashlight app on my smartphone. Feels as though I'm being crushed under the weight of my sins. Before I lose my mind, I'm turning myself to stone and putting an end to it all.
僕は
素直に読み取るのならば、自分で自分を石にした。
I don't believe that for a millisecond, guys. I really don't.
自分を
I think they're trying to throw us off.
こい
石化の能力者。
嘘だろ
There's only one thing that makes sense. The note reveals that the man is in fact the evil eyes user.
3人目の犠牲者は
Like, this isn't true, right? There's no way. The only credibility I would give to this is that, so if we look at the other world branch, right? When Miyako was the one turned to stone, is it possible that she was like looking for this guy and then she found him here? He was going to commit suicide or do whatever he wanted, right? And she tried to stop him from doing that, and then she got turned to stone, and then he got afraid and ran. Like that is plausible, but I'm like, do I really believe that? I don't know. I don't know the sound of Miyako's voice. The other two joined us at some point, both Miyako and Sora looking down at the statue in astonishment.
都この男に見覚えは
高坂先輩の記憶に
推測自体は。
Yuki crouches down and examines the man's face. The girl from the one time looked to be in pain, but this man's face is tranquil.
けない幕引き。罪の意識に押しつぶされるのならば、初めから犯罪など犯さなければいいのに、この男はしっかりと裁かれるべきだった。
It's like, do I believe that? Is it really that simple? Next, she turns around and looks me in the
私
eye.
の仕事はこれで終わりね。契約通り報酬は支払ってもらう。
分かってる
Without a hint of hesitation, Yuki confidently strides away. We don't watch her walk off, instead turning our attention to the stone statue that was once our culprit.
幕引き本当にこれで石像の記憶を読むのはダメみたい。
That'd be too easy.
この遺書しか今は判断材料がないな
The handwriting is a little crooked. I could see it just being regular old sloppy writing, but I could also see it being shaky due to the guy being forced into writing this.
これでもう誰も死なない。そうだね。 とえ犯人自身でもまた死人が出てしまった。素直に喜べない。
I don't know. I could be totally wrong on this, guys, but I don't believe this. I really don't. Like, it's just too unsatisfying. There's not enough build up to it. Miyako clenches her left hand into a fist, her stigma glowing faintly. Yes, just like Miyako to see things that way. If only we could have settled things more peacefully, but as for me...
空。
初めて見たけど、なんかこれが人って実感が。
そんな実感持たなくていい。都と二人で先生のところに行ってくる。
さつきちゃん？
ああ、放置はできないだろ。
かけるくんは？
警察を、先生の許可なく呼ばない方がいいか。
じゃあ私も。
こんなののそばにいない方がいい。先生ん家で休んでてくれ。
行こう。
She doesn't seem happy about my sending her away, but when Sora tugs at her hand, Miyako leaves the scene. I waited until the two are out of sight and then I crouched down like Yuki was doing earlier, investigating the statue. There's not a trace of flesh and blood remaining. He's been completely turned to stone. One thing to note is if you look at the bottom of his shirt right there, the bottom right, there's like a crack in it. There's like a little crack on here too. I don't know if that means anything. There's cracks, I guess, a few places. So he wrote this note and then used his powers on himself. I just don't see how he did that.
いるか。
もちろん。
Now, in a moment after I call her name, space distorts and Sophie shows herself. Says it seems like she's been watching the entire time. I can skip that
見つけ
explanation.
たのはいいけれどってところかしら。
そうだな。自分を石化する。
自分の力が自分に返ってくる。その例はもう目にしたでしょ。
火事のあいつか。
アーティファクトが見当たらないわね。
一緒に石化したか。
いいえ、アーティファクトは石化しない。
じゃあ自分で消えた。
そうね。他の主をもう見つけてしまったのかもしれない。
魔眼のユーザーはこいつじゃない。
そういう可能性もあるでしょうね。
Anyway, that's what I was feeling. I was feeling it wasn't him. I just don't see that being the case. It would be so easy for someone else to write a suicide note. Track down a lead, and the very night we get to investigate, the culprit commits suicide. The timing is too convenient. Maybe they really did just give up, feeling like they had nowhere else to run. But could you really say we had them so thoroughly cornered? Would they choose death so readily, even though they knew about our movements in such detail? Or after precisely because they had such a firm grasp on our progress, they got tired of trying to hide from us? Who can say? There's one thing I'm certain of, though. If this guy wasn't our culprit, whoever they are, they won't be showing up here again.
手がかりを失った。
Yeah, I think maybe they were just on to us.
仮にこの子が犯人じゃなかったにしても、息を潜めるでしょうね。
だろうな。都の能力を使ったと。
あなたの行動が先読みされている以上、無駄かもしれないわね。
未来を予知するアーティファクトは
ないとは言い切れない。少なくともセフィロトで管理はしていないし、発見もしていない。もっとも、そんな強力なアーティファクトが未発見であるはずがないし、単純にあなたよりも上手だっただけでしょうね。
So, seeing into the future would be hard, but what about going back into the past?
上手だった。
Sure wish I could brush that concern away so easily.
これからどうするつもりだ。
結論を出すのはしばらく様子を見てから。
そうか。
あなたたちのアーティファクトのこともあるしね。仕事は山積み。ひとまずはお疲れ様。よく頑張ったわね。
一言余計なんだよ。
Thanks. Glad you're so supportive of our work here. Sophia smiles wryly, sticking out her tongue as she returns to her world. I hear voices off in the distance. Someone's coming this way. Looks like Miss Naruse and the others are here. What a relief. Miyako may lament over there being another victim, but I'm just happy this chapter is over. Whether this guy was the culprit or whether there's a new culprit out there in this place, either way, the curtain is drawn in this mystery for now. As long as we don't pursue them any further, Miyako should not be targeted again. I think this is totally wrong. Regardless of the truth of the matter, it's safe to say this is the end. I don't believe that for a second. I really don't. My words are far too cold to be considered a prayer. I laid the note atop their cold, hard leg, and I slowly rise to my feet. Okay, I was like, that's not the end, right? Like, there's got to be more to it than that. May is almost over. Outside it's hot enough that you could break a sweat just walking around. Summer is on its way. An ordinary summer leaving no bad memories, empty of grand mysteries. The guy at the shrine was never declared to be the culprit behind the series of the murders. Instead, the police announced he died of a mysterious illness just like the other victims. They're just sweeping it under the rug. The population at large refuses to see this as anything more than a bizarre illness that turns people into stone. Yeah, because that totally happens. I mean, the case, it doesn't make sense to talk about it being a culprit. Still don't know how they tried to explain away the suicide note. Certainly didn't feel a need to tell me. I was just the guy who happened to report the statue. That's why I did my own legwork and investigated. The guy was the owner of the forum, the Leaves of Augustia. It turns out that he was on friendly terms with Kosuga-senpai as well and had met with her several times. Kosuga-senpai didn't know that he was the culprit behind the petrification incidents, I think. She was in shock and unable to speak, so it's not like she told me that herself, but you could tell just from the way she reacted to the news. And so that left one suspect unaccounted for, the hooded girl whose identity we still didn't know. That man ended up being the last victim. Nobody else has fallen prey to the evil eye since then, and the petrification incidents have stopped. Our life is back to normal. Nothing out of the ordinary. I walk to school in the morning and spend my day in class. Once school is out of session, I make my way home. Sometimes I make a few detours along the way. Sometimes I head just straight there. While away my time, however, I feel like. When the night rolls around, I go to bed and wait for tomorrow. Life is back to being mundane. Oh boy. Just, I don't know. That didn't seem very, conclusive. She sets out the dishes on the table. It's my favorite, Salisbury steak, a Caesar salad, and a cup of soup. Ooh, so good. And of course, a heaping helping of rice. Everything made for two. Lately, perhaps out of consideration for us, Sora stopped showing up at my apartment. Oh, God bless. Miyako says she misses having her around, but personally, seeing as how this means the two of us get to make out as much as we want, I find this to be a welcome change. Of course you do. Of course you find this a welcome change. After we offer our thanks, we pick up our chopsticks. Wait, what do you mean? Do people not like cilantro? Cilantro is delicious. I mean, I wouldn't want a lot of it, but it's a nice little seasoning. We make idle chatter the rest of the way through dinner. It's already been about a month since we started dating. I'm so used to being alone together that I've stopped acting awkward over every little thing. Well, congratulations, that's good. But it doesn't mean she doesn't make my heart pound every now and then. The time I spend with Miyako is bliss. I honestly hope this relationship lasts forever. About that. That said, there's still one worry I can't shake. Is the last worry her grandfather? You need his approval? Oh, she loves it. Okay. Ah, here it is. Oh boy, oh boy. That's good. I didn't want it to get too happy. I'm like, this is not happy here. Poland's face tears open and Sophie emerges onto the dining table. Christ, it's like she's doing this intentionally. And Miyako's just like, oh, hi. Hi there, friend. don't know. Is the evil eye user really gone? Like, I don't know. I just cannot believe that. It just, the way it happened just it wasn't satisfying. That's how I know it's not true.
魔眼も行方知れず。あの男が持ち主だったとしても、自害してアーティファクトが消えた以上、新たな魔眼のユーザーが生まれているはず。その手がかりは一切なし。しばらく様子を見ていたけれど、動く気配が全くないんだもの。
I mean, it's entirely possible that somebody else has the evil eye now, and they could be doing stuff. So even if it does start up again, I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean that wasn't the person. It could have been the person, but there's just a new one. Like, I hope we get some like clarification on that later.
そろそろこの枝に見切りをつけるわ。他の枝のあなたたちに期待することにする。
じゃあこの枝のソフィーの仕事は終わりか。
そうね。ま、何かあればまた動くけれど、それまで待機ね。
I'm so confused. So, I've been trying to talk to y'all about this. Sorry, I don't know why I keep losing the air in my chair, but I've been trying to talk to y'all about this. So, are all the different world lines, are they all active at the same time? So she's going in and looking at what would happen at this time in another world line, and like seeing the results of that. I'm really lost. Or are these just like possibilities? So they're not like active things, but she has to go in and observe them, pretty much like as if she was watching in real time. Still a little bit lost on this. I mean, if it's a huge spoiler, please do not tell me. But I'm trying to wrap my head around it.
それにしても意外だったわ。この世界の人間は理性的なのか、それとも臆病なのか。せっかく得た力を使わないなんて、都の能力では非効率的すぎるし、もっと楽に回収できたはずだったのに。おかげで私の評価に響いちゃうわ。じゃあせめて私のアーティファクトを。あらそう？ありがとう。と言いたいところだけど。また魔眼のユーザーが動き出した時のために。そうね。大勢のユーザーを探すには非効率だけど、たった一つのアーティファクトを奪うためなら、あなたの能力はとても役に立つ。
I thought for a second, because this is technically going to be like the Cujo ending, I thought maybe they were just going to do it that way and just like, oh yeah, nothing ended up happening, but we're going to go to another world line where things are happening, and that's how we continue to episode 2.
だから預けておくわ。誰にも奪われないように気をつけなさい。
Because I was under the impression that each of these episodes was around like 10-ish hours, or maybe 15, so like I feel like we're pretty close to the end here.
はい。それとかける？
あ
あ。あなたの能力、結局わからなくてイライラするわ。
I'm trying to
何
figure
か
it
変
out
わった
too,
こと
man.
はないの？
まったく
体のどこかにスティグマは？
ないな。
自分では確認できない場所かも。
都に見てもらった。
あら、裸を見せ合うような関係だったの？
Of course you go there.
かけらか。
悪い。
この程度のことでうろたえるなんて。あなたの能力を解明できなかったことが最大の心残りではあるけれど。
やっとお前の目を気にしなくて済むな。
寂しいくせに。
You know you'll miss me. I look away and shrug my shoulders. Sophie harumphs and rips a distorted hole in
それじゃ、
space.
お邪魔虫は消えるわね。また会えますか？もちろん。預けっぱなしにしておくつもりはないもの。そのアーティファクトを回収しに来るわ。いつか。
まあなんだ。暇だったら遊びに来いよ。
やっぱり寂しいんじゃない。
I knew you'd miss me.
うるせえな。
Shut up.
それじゃあね。また。
I know, I'd kind of miss Sophie if, like, she just stopped coming around. Miyako waves warmly and Sophie waves back in suit as she disappears in the subspace rift. Ta-ta for now, huh? But only for now, this isn't over.
預けておく。
She pulls up the hair clip, the artifact from her pocket, and places it on the table. As long as Miyako and this accessory are bound together, things aren't
次
over.
会えるのはいつになるだろうね。
ソフィーには悪いが、来ない方がいい。
そうだね。私には過ぎた力かもしれないし。
そいつがあれば、 2人目の魔眼のユーザーを止められる？
I don't know, honestly, I'd probably trust Noah more than this.
今度は失敗したくない。誰も犠牲にしたくない。
今度は。
I murmur, popping a tomato into my mouth. Miyako almost says something, but decides against it, returning to her meal. I don't mean to come across as angry, but that's probably how she's taking it. Still, I can't force myself to smile, so we sit and eat in
ごちそうさま。
silence.
もういいの？
ああ、ありがとう。うまかった。
食器そのままでいいよ。
ありがとう。ちょっと風に当たる。
I stack up my dirty dishes, stand up, open the glass door, and step out into the veranda. The breeze tonight feels great. It's getting warmer lately, so the evening air feels nice and cool, but inside I'm anything but cool. I still have that same doubt hanging over me. The artifact remains in the world, the evil eye is out there, and Miyako is a user. She may be targeted again. If I at least had the power of my own, if only my power would reveal itself. Hell, where even is my artifact in the first place? If the artifacts are going away, then I want that power to protect Miyako. Hear Miyako's voice. I grunt, not turning around. I stare out for a little while longer before I notice Miyako's come to stand next to me.
怒ってる？
Oh, the cute little CG.
ああ、いや。
じゃあ、私のこと心配してくれてる？
そうだな。
When I admit it, Miyako breaks into a
私
smile.
ね、ずっと考えてたの。なんでかけるくんと仲違いしたのかなって。
別の枝の話か？
そうそう。多分だけどね。
So, she technically went crazy like the other fire guy, right?
ああ。
かけるくんにいいところを見せようとしたのかなって。
I wonder if it has to do with like their mental state, if they go crazy because of the artifact or something.
仲違いじゃなかったってこと。
She smiles again, bumping into me and wrapping her arms
多
around
分
me.
ね、かけるくんの気持ちを知って、私じゃ釣り合わないって思ったんだと思う。
どうして？
火事の時、かなり衝撃だったの。ソラちゃんのために必死になって、ただのクラスメイトの私まで守ってくれて、この人すごいって心から思った。自覚はなかったけど、あの時にかけるくんのこと好きになってたんだと思う。
そうか？
うん。だって私の態度が変わり始めたのあの頃からじゃない？
Yeah, there was definitely a point where she started acting a lot more friendly towards us.
あ
More than so than usual. And I think that was around when she started cooking for me. She started talking more
か
casually
けるく
too.
んの気持ちを知って自分の気持ちに気づいてこのままじゃダメだって思ったのかな。
あ。大げさだな。
でもそうなの。だからね、私も頑張らなきゃってかけるくんにいいところ見せようとして結局何もできず、私は魔眼のユーザーに負けて。
あ。
わかる？
何が？
私はかけるくんと一緒じゃなきゃ。
Miyako takes my hand and
かける
squeezes
くん
it
と
tight.
一緒だから私は生きてる。かけるくんと一緒ならこれからも生きていける。かけるくんがいるから私は大丈夫。
絶対に。
She smiles sweetly. As she holds my hand, my own grip naturally gets
アーテ
tighter.
ィファクトの力も残してもらってよかったと思う。使い方を間違えなければ私を救ってくれると思うから。
I'm not the only one reading this, right? What would you call that when you're talking about something that happened in the past? Like, I don't want to say foreshadowing because it's not something like it's talking about some future event. It's talking about some past event. It's like pre-shadowing. Interesting that she would say that. I wonder if that's relevant.
その使い方はかけるくんが教えてくれる。かけるくんがいないと私は間違えちゃうから。
Interesting that you say all this. She smiles kindly. Almost as if she's reassuring that she needs me, that I don't have to worry.
一緒なら怖いものはないか。もう一度 約束する。
守られちゃいます。これからも末永くよろしくお願いします。
ああ、なんか今の夫婦みたいだな。
I'm trying to decide whether I think this is going to be a good or a bad ending. Because I'm like, oh, are they going to segue it into the second part? Like something crazy is going to happen?
あれ？
本気にしちゃうから、そういう冗談やめてください。
冗談は言ってないけど。逆玉だ、逆玉。
Just out for your money.
あ、そういうこと考える人だったんだ。お付き合い考えないとな。
Hey, it wouldn't be bad to have a trust fund baby, you know?
振られてもまとわりつくぞ。約束したからな。
そうだね。約束してくれたもんね。
We stand out there on the veranda, hand in hand. Our fingers interlaced, hers warm and soft, mine a little calloused. Feeling each other's pulse, confirming each other's love.
ああ。都の手。
Gentle breeze blows. It swirls around the both of us, ruffling our hair. My worries have not abated. My doubts are still lingering in a corner of my mind. As long as the artifacts remain in the world, another incident is bound to occur. And when it does, Miyako will be there to deal with it. She might even be put into danger. Even so, we'll face forward. Not slowing down, not looking back. No matter what difficulties may be awaiting for us down the road, we'll overcome them. Hand in hand. Together, we can do anything.
Hi, お待たせしました。照り焼きチキンのセットです。
God bless, I love teriyaki chicken. Let's go. She lays the dishes out on the table. Everything looks amazing. This may have something to do with Miyako wearing her work uniform, but even more so than usual, today everything looks perfect.
都がバイト終わるまで飯我慢しててよかった。
ごめんね。早く切り上げられればよかったんだけど。
いや、家で制服着てほしいってわがまま言ったの俺だし、こっちこそごめんな。無理言って。
Hey, no, it's no problem at all.
かけるくんが喜んでくれるなら何でもしちゃう。それにちょうどクリーニングに出すから。
土下座した甲斐があった。
妙に必死だったよね、かけるくん。冷めないうちに食べよっか。
Apparently in both games I'm playing, they have a cosplay fetish right now.
ああ、いつも作ってくれてありがとう。
どういたしまして。
We both offer a prayer, then pick up our chopsticks.
うまい。
ご飯ちょっと硬くないかな。お水の加減少し間違えちゃったみたいで。
ああ、うまいよ。
よかった。
It's now an everyday occurrence for the two of us to share a meal. Just another day in the life. And yet I find even the familiarity of it to be a source of amazing and irreplaceable joy. Sophie has left us temporarily, and the petrification incidents have come to an end. We might have our fair share of fights down the road, but I sincerely hope that the two of us can spend the rest of our lives in peace together, just like we are now.
スプーンあった方がいいよね。
ああ、スープ？箸で大丈夫。
一応持ってくるね。玉ねぎ細かくして入れちゃったから食べにくいかも。
Yeah, how am I supposed to drink a soup with chopsticks? What do you mean, Kakeru? Let her get you a spoon. Miyako rises from her seat and heads back to the kitchen. Miyako's presence in this apartment has become commonplace now, too. And it will remain that way. We'll be together from now on. My sincerest wish is that the day comes where we don't have to think about how commonplace this scene has become.
スプーン、スプーン。
Uh-oh.
どうした？
大丈夫。隙間に落としちゃっただけ。どうしよう。こういう使い方は良くないけど、ごめんなさい。自分のために使います。
She's worried about using her power.
取れた取れた。
Oh gosh, what are we about to see, you guys? I'm all of a sudden very nervous. The stigma is expanding. Wait, what? Huh? I'm so lost. What's going on? Who is this? That was such an abrupt end. What do you mean? The stigma's expanding. So I'm assuming the stigma that's like the thing on her hand, right? And then all of a sudden this other blonde chick comes in here. I'm so lost. What's going on? What? Huh? That was such an abrupt ending. I don't know how I feel about that. The nice thing is I can go and play the second game, like, right off the bat, right? Like, it's not hard. What was that ending? The stigma's expanding after she used her power. We saw that this chick looking over. What was going on there? What? I don't know, guys. How am I supposed to feel about that? What am I supposed to be thinking right now? I was told that without the adult patch, I am missing a little bit of information, so I hope that wasn't like super important to understanding what was going on there. I didn't see anything that I felt like I was missing. Like, I felt like I got enough information. There was definitely some hints at some past events by Kujo. She was talking about if she ever went crazy that I would save her, and I did. I technically did that already. Okay. All right. I can see why y'all like this game. I can see it. And I was told this one's the worst. The first game's the worst. So if this is the worst, I'm already enjoying this a lot. So I'm very excited if it only gets better from here. I've heard the further you go, the better it gets, or something like that. So let's freaking go. I'm ready. I'm here for it. But yeah. Let's see. Overall thoughts on episode 1. It was good. I think it's doing a really good at laying out the world and laying out the idea. So we have like the anime, which is kind of like what we're kind of basing some of these things off of. It gives us kind of that knowledge. It's very interesting. How is the anime so accurate to what's actually going on here? I wonder if like whoever wrote it like came from another world. That would make sense why it's all like in our town. Let's see. Sophie's visiting other branches. I'm like, does that mean this is like the current world, or is this a branch and like there's multiple active worlds? I'm not really sure about that part yet. Obviously this is Kujo's ending, so we end up with Kujo, but I'm like, are they going to continue from the bad ending, or are they going to continue from this one? Like, where do they continue from? Where does episode 2 start? Is my question. And the evil eye user is technically gone. I don't know if I believe that. Was that actually what happened? I feel like if that's what happened, I don't really like that. I feel like that's very unsatisfying. But maybe that's not the case. Maybe it's something else is going on. I'm just gonna have to keep playing, I think. I don't want to get spoiled. Like, I'm not asking for that. I'm trying to understand it. It's not making sense yet. But lots of stuff to look forward to, guys. Lots of good stuff. Also, I love this. I love this. This new screen here is great, because like we had these other two and it's like, okay, you know, that made sense when she disappeared. I was like, oh frick. And then this is sweet. I like this. So I will be continuing in episode 2. I will be doing that very soon. I don't know if it'll be like the day after this, but I'll be doing it very soon. I'm almost done with Cafe Stella, and you guys have wanted me to like focus on this game more. Hopefully I'll be able to do it daily, or do it more often than I've been doing. I do have a game that I'm planning on playing at the end of the month. Maybe I can get through a lot of the series before then. We'll see. But anyways, guys, I appreciate you. I'm sorry for rambling on so long. I just have a lot of thoughts. I didn't even say everything I thought, honestly. Like, I have way more thoughts, but I'll give them to you guys eventually. So, have a good one.